Hey there, welcome back to the pod. Today we're going to continue our series of MVP candidates. This week, talk about the current league leader in points per game now that Embiid has fallen off due to his injury. That, of course, being Dallas Mavericks guard Luka Doncic, averaging 34.3 points per game, 9.5 assists, 8.8 rebounds. First in scoring, third in assists. The man is a system, as excuse me, as James Harden would say. He's not in a system. He is a system. They won, what were they won? Like 7 games in a row before they lost last night to the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton's dad tried to break Luka Doncic's hand. I don't know if you guys saw that video. That was very weird. Luka looked legitimately hurt after that handshake, and he is probable for was it tonight? No, tomorrow's game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, Luka, what do you think his chances are of making a run at that that MVP spot? What do you think the Dallas Mavericks chances are of making a real legitimate run in the playoffs this year? Let's start with Colton. You go first.
Well, I actually think a couple weeks ago we did, the Jokic video where we talked about Jokic being MVP. I said the only guy that could steal it from him was SGA. Luca, if there's some crazy Luca magic streak here, that could that could change things. I think that he's averaging a crap ton of points, assists, rebounds. They're winning basketball. They got better at the trade deadline, no doubt about it. I definitely think that PJ Washington, that's been a player under the radar. I wanted the Blazers to pick up for the last couple of seasons, get him out of Charlotte. And I think that that helps their roster a lot. I think Daniel Gafford is a great addition as well. Make it so Lively doesn't have to play a lot. I think that they'll still probably fall short in the playoffs. I think there's just Denver is a buzzsaw, but I really do think Luca and Kyrie and all the crazy cast in Dallas there can make actually a solid run now that they improved the roster. I think that they might even be the team that, upsets, somebody like the Clippers or, I could definitely see them beating the Suns because Luca is Devin Booker's father. So I don't know. I think Luca could win MVP actually, weirdly. I didn't think that a couple weeks ago, but I think that he could be a dark horse candidate.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think I can answer both of your questions kind of at the same time between whether Luka can make a run for the MVP and whether Dallas can make a run for the playoffs because I think those two things are pretty much linked together. If Luka wants to be MVP, Dallas is going to have to get a lot better looking in terms of the standings and everything. I think that they did make some huge changes at the trade deadline that made them a much bigger threat, but they're still in eighth place in the West. They are many games back from being up in the upper echelon of the Western Conference. It's getting kind of late in the season. And so while I do think that they could potentially be a little bit scary in the playoffs, at least to a first round team, I just don't see them getting out of that like semi quasi play in, maybe sixth, seventh is kind of their ceiling. And I just don't think the MVP can come from a seventh place team in the conference. Obviously, his individual numbers are very impressive. He's super fun to watch. I could see if, with the changes they made this year, if they can keep it going next year and he keeps playing like this, maybe next year could be his year for an MVP run, and maybe it could be Dallas's year to make a push for the crown. But I don't see it happening this year. They're going to end up probably drawing kind of an unfavorable matchup in the second round if they do make it through the first round because of the fact that they're going to be lower in the conference. And not that the playoffs really weigh on who's the MVP, but at the same time, if you're in that sixth, seventh, eighth, I don't think the MVP can come from that low in the conference. So I don't think he's going to win MVP this year, but I love watching him play.
I actually think I side with Colton more on this one. I think that Dallas is dangerous. I think they could make a real run. in the playoffs this year. I think that they could make a real run to end the regular season. If they do, he'll certainly be in that like top 3 MVP candidate conversation. Right now, they're a half game out of 5th. So, they're not that far away from really making a run. And they are, what, 4.5 games out of 4th. So, I mean, it's a close race. There's a lot of good teams above them that aren't likely to slip. But if they do get hot, which I could see happening, they seem like they were hot before the All-Star break. They won coming out of the All-Star break before they finally let one go last night. It seems like him and Kyrie are gelling for the first time. They've only been together for about a season and a half, but they really seem to be building chemistry and getting better potentially as a duo. They added depth in the at the trade deadline. I think they're as far as the supporting cast, maybe the best that Luka's had at least since that Western Conference Finals run, but maybe in his entire career. Um, Derek Lively, it seems like he has great chemistry with him. He's just a rookie, so that'll continue to develop. Maybe to Riley's point, maybe next year they'll start to build even more chemistry. But I see them being a tough out this year. As long as everyone stays healthy. Luka and Kyrie, man, with shooters surrounding them, with a real springy rebounder and lob threat. They're dangerous. And yeah, I could see them easily upsetting, as Colton said, a Phoenix, Clippers and OKC, even a Minnesota. I could see it pretty easily happening, them knocking them out of contention. Again, Denver, it's a different animal. That team just has so much confidence right now. And for that reason, I think that Luka probably will lose the Western Conference to his buddy Jokic and the MVP to his buddy Jokic. But I think he could make a run for that number 2 spot, be right up there with SGA.
Yeah,
What do you guys think about?
I don't necessarily disagree with that either. I think that he very well could find his way up to second, but I just don't think the winner can come from the bottom half of the conference, and I think that's still where they're going to end up because there's just too much talent between them and the upper echelons. Everybody in that at the top of that conference is going 7-3, 6-4 at the worst. I just don't see them making up that many games.
What do you guys think about Luka's MVP chances? Is he going to make a run? Are the Mavericks going to make a run? Or is he a pretender just like the Mavericks? Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.